Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So I just had an amazing weekend. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I feel like every single weekend I change and I become a better person. I'm improving. So that's very good. I'm trying to benefit and think and reflect on everything that is happening in my life. And so I feel like I make more out of it. I cherish it. And I talk about it here whether people want to listen or not, because this is going to be a very long post, and if just for that, or so I can just keep going back and just have these memories. So I went to Cairo for the first time ever, and I was really excited. I got there, and I just have random thoughts written down on my phone's memo pad. So I'm just gonna share them. It's gonna be in no particular order. It could be in themes, but it would take me forever to readjust it on my BlackBerry. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna read it off. I'm getting used to the train ride. I used the train to go to Tanta and back, and then to go to Cairo and back. So I'm getting used to it, which is a cool thing. So I went to Cairo. I went to Muqattam. I have a friend who lives there, or Muqattam in Fusha. It's on this mountain, or very large hill, but probably mountain is more appropriate. And you go up there and you can see the qal'ah, or the rook, I think is the right term, for of Salahuddin or Saladin. And you see this mosque and there's all these things inside of it. I didn't get a chance to go, but it was beautiful. And there's this cliff next to his house where there are a lot of people sitting. It's like a romantic place where you had a lot of couples. But I just looked over there and I took a few pictures, and you could see all of, I think it was South Cairo, because it was kind of in the middle. I'm not really sure about the geography there, but it was beautiful, beautiful. I went there and we sat down and we spoke for many hours straight. It was amazing. It was a life-changing conversation. I think I'm changing my trajectory as a human being, and how I can contribute to humanity because of it. We change little by little. It's not big changes, but I think I'm getting there at this, idea. I can't really share it right now because it'll take, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 years to just get into the, very beta stage. But yeah, just keep thinking. Um, don't let school or work or whatever it is you're doing let you be a human being who goes through that mundane, uh, work every day. You're either working in the office in your cubicle and you're doing that job, or you're a doctor, you're doing the same mundane thing over and over. Unless you're, instead of the cubicle, you're doing more management stuff. You're seeing more techniques. You're dealing with more people, new projects. And as a doctor, you're looking at new techniques, medical techniques, stuff like that. If you're in academic researching and stuff, so we need to keep growing and thinking and stopping every single day and thinking about life and about the world and about the universe and about philosophy and history and religion and languages and cultures. And even if you don't believe in God, just think about this phenomena that's going on and what it means for humanity. Um, After that, my friend was going to Tunis, which is this place next to Fayoum, nice little city. And my other friend had told me, hey, if you're gonna go to Fayoum, you better go check out Tunis and Buheret Qarun, so Lake Qarun. And so I said, what the heck? This is probably a once in my whole experience. So I went there. We didn't even know the guy we were going to. We didn't know anything but his name, and we would spend the night there. So whatever, you just got to be down for adventures. Took the metro from the Egyptian library, Mathaf Masr, to our Mathaf Masr in Fusha. We took that to Munib, past Giza, hopped on a microbus and took it to Ib Shawai. Ib Shawai is this little village. I don't know where it is, but it's very far from the city. It was maybe a 2-hour microbus ride, and then from there we had to take another microbus, but this one was more like the back of a pickup truck that's covered, and we took that for how many minutes? Maybe 45 minutes. He said 30 minutes, but usually in Egypt, if they tell you a time, you need to add on time because nothing seems to start on time. We went there and it was a beautiful, beautiful place. So Tunis is this little village. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's on this lake, Lake Qarun, as I said, and here are some of the things we saw there. So these NGOs come there and they're all concerned about the conservation of this lake and about this place in general. A lot of people have things at stake, and so this one person, I think they're from Switzerland, started this pottery school, and it's about helping with children's creativity, which I thought was a very cool idea. And you go from place to place and you see all these works and they're really nice, and they tell the students, don't copy from others, go into nature. And so I started to talk about the guy we met there, about where is the source of creativity? Is a human a source, or are we just copying from nature, which, if you believe in God, is creation? It's the khalq, it's what has been created. What's really going on here? But what I really liked is that it didn't shut down people's creativity, as we see so much in the American school system and every other school system. Look, I will be very honest that I think the American public schooling system and the university system, what I've seen is very terrible. It's limiting. We can do so much more with the human mind. But after coming here to Egypt and seeing little, again, and this is all anecdotal, after seeing what I saw, I've come to appreciate it so much more. Excellent opportunity. But, they all need improvement. We should constantly look for that. It was also about trying to preserve the environment. We met this guy. He works for an NGO there. I'm reading off my phone, that's why I'm looking down. Here's an interesting thing. So clay, in the Islamic tradition, وَخَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ كَالْفَخَّارِ. So in Surah Ar-Rahman, which is Surah 55, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, and they actually call it fukhar in Egyptian Arabic, that, that oven, that kiln where you put in the clay, that's given as a similitude, if I'm saying that correctly, as something that's very similar to the creation of humans. So humans are supposed to be made out of clay. And sorry for saying supposed to. Humans are created out of clay in the Islamic tradition, like how someone puts it in a kiln. Yet here you have humans dealing with clay and going out there and being with nature. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. I mean, what's going on here? There's something big. I don't know it yet, but there's something big going on here. Who lives in this little village? So you have the villagers, who are native there, and then you have these really cool people. You have, for example, there's this one writer. I saw his novels. I didn't recognize the name, and I didn't write it down. It was not Najib Mahfouz, but maybe he had a Najib in his name or something. I don't know. But anyways, apparently there are 4 people in Europe doing their PhDs on him. Oh, I did write down his name. His name is Abdu Gabir, or Jabir, if anybody knows about Arabic literature and recognizes him. So he lives there. You have this guy who was or still is the correspondent for The Economist. You had this guy who was the main routers guy or Associated Press, maybe, I don't know, some press guy who lives there. You have a few famous painters and architects who live there, and you have this really cool guy who we met, who basically when he was 18, when he was young, he just wanted to get out of the U.S. So when he was 18, he joins this new idea. It's this international school. It's this traveling school. And so he goes for a year on this full-ride scholarship with the top professors in the U.S. in art and history and social sciences, or I think it was called social studies back then. And they just travel the world. And he's like, I went to Japan and Taiwan, and I think he said China, but he went to India and Pakistan. They went to Africa, and they went to the Middle East. They went to all through Europe. They went to all the famous museums, and they had like the top art guys, professors who are on sabbatical, who were like, yeah, I'll go on this free trip and teach what I love, and just traveled all over for a year. I mean, just so many countries, spent time in all of them. And, from what I understand, joined the Peace Corps, went to Morocco, lived there for 8 years, Sana'a, 4 years, India, lived there. He went to Harvard and just graduated and has been traveling for like 45 years. A very, very interesting person. I was so honored to meet him and get his insight and his advice.